Breaking news from KION News Channel 546.
And that breaking news tonight coming out of Salinas. Police are investigating a deadly shooting in Chinatown.
Here's what we know so far. It happened on East Market and Soledad Street. Police say just before 8 o'clock they got a call about shots fired. A man in his 30s or 40s was shot and killed. They say police don't have any other details right now on a motive or suspects. We are working to get more information for you.
And now to our other top story. A series of suspicious fires in Greenfield is putting fire and police on alert right now.
They say they've all happened within the last week, and the fire chief says some of those fires could have caused serious damage.
Yeah, KION's Josh Cristianto is live in Greenfield, where a fire was started just this morning. Josh.
Staff here at Rite Aid off of Walnut Avenue in Greenfield tell me residents saw a couple of people setting a wooden pallet on fire behind the store, and this is just one of the few fires in town that has authorities worried. You can see here the charred remains of a rear garbage area at Rite Aid. A wooden pallet burned through and through.
2 gentlemen were involved. We don't have much more information than that. That's all the fire department gave us. They fled the scene in a vehicle that the caller did not recognize.
The Greenfield fire chief tells me this is one of 5 suspicious fires in the town since last Thursday.
We're seeing certain trends in locations and how they're being set.
One fire was started in a vacant field near some houses. Another fire happened in a bathroom at Mary Chaba Academy. The fire chief says someone had to have broken into the school to do this.
My worry as the fire chief is that one of these fires is going to take, it's going to catch a building on fire. That's going to cause a lot of damage, a lot of property loss, and in a worst case scenario, the occupants can be injured or even killed.
It's very strange how it's particularly isolated. There's no other items nearby. 9 o'clock in the morning, it's not necessarily because they're cold. It might have just been for fun.
A Greenfield police investigator with expertise in arson is now on the case. The fire chief says on top of damaging property and potentially hurting someone, starting fires like these steal the resources and time of the fire department. But they highly suspect most of these fires were started by the same person or people, and it's nothing anybody wants to see right now.
Especially how dry it is out here and the wind speeds, it's exceptionally dangerous this time of year.
And investigators will continue looking into the rationale behind these fires in hopes of catching those responsible. And if you see anything suspicious or have any information, you're encouraged to call Greenfield Police. Reporting live in Greenfield, Josh Cristianto, KION News Channel 546.
Josh, thank you. To news around California now, lawmakers have passed a plan to shore up the state's biggest electric utilities in the face of catastrophic wildfires. The approved measure is going to require major utilities to spend at least $5 billion on safety upgrades and meet new safety standards. It also creates a fund of up to $21 billion to pay out some claims from wildfire damage. The legislation has broad support, but some are concerned it would leave utility customers on the hook for fires. New figures released by Governor Newsom show the town of Paradise has lost over 90% of its population since the Camp Fire killed 85 people last year. A door-to-door survey in April counted just over 2,000 residents. Now that's down from previously released state figures that showed the population had declined to nearly 4,600 people as of January 1st. The 2016 census estimated 26,800 people lived in Paradise.
And now, Chief Meteorologist Dan Siaka with your Weather Authority forecast.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Taking a look at our humidity levels tonight. One thing I like to watch when we get into the summertime months, showing us where that dry air is in place. But the marine layer is present tonight. We don't have clouds everywhere. We have clouds on the south side of the bay, and that's it so far. But our humidity levels are coming up in the valleys and such. We're seeing humidity levels above 50% for many locations. The highest elevations and farther inland, we have some lower values like that 34% Parkfield. That's some pretty dry air for the nighttime hours. Now, we may have some fog develop through the overnight hours near the coast, so watch out for that. Temperatures still pretty mild tonight, though. We're in the low to mid 60s around the bay, but look at our inland temperatures tonight. Hard to cool your homes in the San Antonio Valley with temperatures in the upper 70s still outside. So stay cool tonight if you can. We'll take a look at that weekend forecast plus an update on the tropics. It's all coming up.
All right, Dan, thank you. We are learning more about a stolen plane out of Watsonville. We now know it's linked to a missing persons case. The FAA says the plane crashed and the pilot is presumed dead. It was stolen back in late June. Investigators believe This man, Hugo Marr, is the culprit. They believe he stole the plane from a club member, then crashed it off the coast of Santa Cruz. They say there were no survivors of the crash, but have several reasons to believe Marr was the one flying it.
He was an active member of a flying club based out of the Watsonville Airport. However, he did not have authorization to fly the plane. The day the plane was stolen, Marr attempted to reserve the airplane, but the flying club denied that reservation.
Marr was reported missing by his family on July 1st. Detectives found his car abandoned at the airport. Inside, a chilling note was also found. His neighbors think he wrote it before he stole the plane. They also say he was struggling in his life.
He was really bummed that he couldn't find a job, and he started drinking a lot. I don't know where he was headed or what his plans were, because he never mentioned a plane license to me or taking a plane.
Marr worked as a physician's assistant but was placed on probation in 2016 for charges related to forging a prescription. He was to work under supervision of the board for the next 5 years, but ultimately decided to close his practice in October of 2018. Those who knew Marr are hoping he's still alive.
In the city of Santa Cruz now, life rings are being vandalized at local beaches. The city's lifeguard manager tells us 2 rings have been replaced in the last 6 months, but 9 total have been damaged along West Cliff, Cow Surf Spot, and Monterey Street. They say people steal them or vandalize them. They say it's also unfortunate because they're meant to be used as a tool to help people who are drowning.
Some living on the streets have committed minor crimes over and over, and the law is powerless to stop them. And
in Santa Cruz County, those people are put on a FIT list, short for the Focused Intervention Team. The team targets 30 of the most habitual criminal offenders, monitoring their activities and providing them resources to get them off the street. KION's Drew Andre went along with the FIT to see if the program really works.
You know, this is actually one of our guys right here.
Every day, Santa Cruz County Sheriff Sergeant Billy Burnett manages people who commit crimes over and over again. So this is a normal encounter.
Hey Jack, how's it going?
Burnett surveys the street daily, checking on the people in the FIT program to make sure they're staying off drugs and alcohol and out of trouble.
The people who are aggressive out in public, that are continually getting arrested, continually scaring people out in the street, tying up public resources.
Most of the people he visits are homeless, an ever-growing issue in Santa Cruz that has sparked anger and debate after debate with many who just want a solution. Enter the FIT list, the program focused on those who repeatedly cause problems and drain law enforcement resources.
There's people who are on our team that have been arrested over 200 times.
Santa Cruz County approved a half-cent sales tax to fund the creation of the FIT project last November, rolling solutions to the county's homeless, drug, and crime epidemic into one program.
In the 17 years that I've been in law enforcement, this is the most successful program that I've ever seen. And it comes back to the accountability piece, because instead of just this revolving door through the county jail and through the court system, this is the program that has been holding people accountable.
Although it's a countywide program, about 2/3 of the people on the FIT list live or spend their time in the city of Santa Cruz, and a majority of that right here in the downtown area, which undoubtedly puts a toll on businesses.
You know, people stealing, some kind of assault, stuff like that.
What we try to do is continuously engage with them. So one, they know that their behavior isn't going to be acceptable and we're watching them. And then 2, we have these resources that we can give you.
The new pilot program that began earlier this year merges law enforcement discipline with rehabilitation.
So as long as the person's not committing a crime, this is what we try to do a lot. We'll go out initially, contact them, make sure it's safe, and then the mental health clinicians will work with them, and then we just kind of monitor the conversation.
Some of the people on the FIT list are in jail. Others are in rehab or mental health programs, and the county makes sure to have a bed for all of them to sleep on.
Okay, man. All right. Good to see you.
So far, 6 people have successfully graduated the program, meaning they've made it 60 days without getting arrested. One of those graduates is Jeffrey Morris.
They're interested in their ability to come down straight into the jail and talk to you, you know.
And Morris says there's one thing that sticks out.
Trust.
So what happens after they graduate? The FIT supervisors continue to check up on participants. Others are added to the list. Organizers say they hope one day the FIT program will expand.
I'd like to see it doubled. I mean, it's been working so successfully but the resources are a problem, right? We only have the backing for those 30 spots, those beds in jail, those resources.
In Santa Cruz, Drew Andre, KION News, Channel 546.
At the end of the year, the FIT program will be audited to measure the success to determine if it will continue to receive funding. Caught on camera, a Coast Guard bust in international waters.
Plus, Gulf Coast residents preparing for more flooding and strong winds. The warning from officials as the storm looms.
Caught on camera, take a look at this. Coast Guard members boarded a self-propelled drug smuggling vessel last month while operating in international waters. Officials say ships like the one you're seeing here are meant to hold large amounts of contraband while evading law enforcement.
Residents in one Louisiana town spent the day clearing out a local Walmart. Now in this picture, you see shelves cleared out in preparation for the coming storm. Officials are also warning people to prepare in other ways.
Tie down loose items in your yard. Clear storm drains of any debris. Get your medications taken care of.
We are encouraging everyone to take this very, very seriously.
So many things for them to think about as this storm comes. The National Hurricane Center is warning tonight of heavy rains and wind conditions, but the Army Corps of Engineers says it does not expect the Mississippi River to spill over the levees that protect New Orleans. City officials also are not planning evacuations. Still, though, the National Guard has been activated and is standing by ahead of the storm. Wise idea, because you never know what these kinds of storms can bring.
Yeah, the Gulf of Mexico filled with warm water makes it easy for these cyclones to intensify rapidly.
Yeah, and hopefully the levees stay put, because that has been an issue in the past.
Obviously, yeah. And let's take a look at where Barry currently is. This is Tropical Storm Barry, currently sitting off of the Mississippi Delta. Winds up to 50 miles per hour with the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center, and moving at a snail's pace to the west, 3 miles per hour. Now Barry, as I mentioned, a tropical storm, is expected to remain at tropical storm strength as it approaches the Louisiana coast sometime tomorrow. Now, the latest forecast brings it up to 70 miles per hour, which is just shy of hurricane strength. Gets to 75, you got a hurricane. So we've got, or it gets up to around 80 miles per hour, you've got a hurricane. So pretty close to it, but either way, the rain is going to be the bigger story with this as it slowly moves off to the north up through the Mississippi Valley through the weekend. And that means a lot of rain for folks in Arkansas, Missouri, of course, Louisiana and Mississippi as well, and probably up into the Ohio Valley eventually. We've already seen a lot of rain out along the Gulf Coast today. Another big round of thunderstorms developed just west of New Orleans this afternoon. Heading off to the west there, things have died down a little bit tonight, but more heavy rain out of those storms, and rounds tomorrow as this cyclone develops. Now, locally here, we're not dealing with anything like that at all. I mean, this is the quiet season here on the Central Coast. The hardest challenges in the forecast this time of year will be the difference between the cool temperatures on the coast and the heat inland and where everything stacks in between. So let's talk about that a little bit. We've got a marine layer present. We don't have a lot of clouds yet, but they will return overnight with the potential for some fog once again tomorrow morning, right along the coast and into some of the adjacent valleys. But tomorrow afternoon, more sunshine for most locations in the forecast, and our temperatures are going to remain very warm, if not a little on the hot side, especially inland. So Futurecast tomorrow morning showing some fog in the Salinas Valley into Hollister and Gilroy as well up to the north there and filled in around the bay. But into the afternoon, as I mentioned, those clouds will shrink back to the bay. And if you do see any clouds tomorrow afternoon, it's probably going to be on the Monterey Peninsula. That's about the only place I'm seeing. Maybe a little bit around the corner to Carmel as well. But other than that, mostly sunny skies. Another really nice day across the Central Coast. Now let's take a look at some temperatures for you tomorrow. We're going to take you through the day via Metrocast in Santa Cruz. So 8 a.m., you're in the low 60s under mostly sunny skies. By lunchtime, we're already in the 70s in Santa Cruz at around 71 degrees. And then by dinner or late supper time, 7 p.m. still in the 70s in Santa Cruz. Well, you're going to top out in the 80s tomorrow. Once again, your high today was 81, 84 expected tomorrow. So nice and warm there. We'll actually warm up a couple more degrees in the Santa Cruz Mountains to mid-90s in Ben Lomond, Scotts Valley around 91 tomorrow. Capitola, a beautiful day at 78. We're in the upper 70s in Aptos in Watsonville. Staying in the 60s, Castroville Marina, if northwesterly breeze off the water throughout the day. Salinas at 72, 90s farther inland. In fact, Gilroy on the hot side at 95 tomorrow. Monterey, 68 tomorrow, mid-60s out to the point, so we will cool down a touch on the Monterey Peninsula, but only by a degree or two. And then farther south, highs in the 80s, approaching 90 in the Salinas Valley, and then some triple digits in the south. San Antonio Valley, Bradley, all on the hot side tomorrow. Even Carmel Valley, nice and warm at 84 degrees. Let's look forward at a time on the coast. Not much change temperature-wise for the next couple of days, but you will cool down next week. So a nice weekend in store for us. Then cooler weather as we head through the early to mid portions of late next week, I should say, because we've got some low clouds out there. They'll thicken up a little bit. The marine layer will be a little bit deeper. That deeper marine layer will make it inland as well. As you can see, our forecast for the weekend, nice and hot on the inland side of things, but you'll be cooler with highs below normal by Tuesday and Wednesday.
All right, thank you, Dan. Some positive local news now. It is Throwback Thursday, so we have a couple stories we missed during the week. Let's begin here with this teen golfer who competed against the top college golfers last weekend in Seaside at Bayonet and Black Horse Golf Course. Joshua Yeater will be a senior at Monterey High. He was one of the youngest to compete. His mom says he did not make the cut, but he still beat out half the field of 105 players. Very impressive. Way to go, Joshua.
Congrats to him.
All right, check this out. Very cool. Former President George W. Bush made a stop in Carmel recently for a private dinner at 7D Steakhouse. Here's a picture of him with the chef you saw, Chef Snyder, another here with their staff at 7D, 7th and Dolores, and President Bush even signed a menu for the restaurant. That is their manager, Joe. So cool. I love it.
Celebrities love the Central Coast.
They do.
Yes.
And how could you not?
I know. All right, we like to bring you stories that you might have passed by this week.
That's right. This week, we have some touching stories in case you missed it. And we want to start here with a baby boom right here in California. Over the past year, a dozen babies were born to parents linked to the Redding Fire Department. This after the area dealt with a devastating car fire. 12 babies total between 9 moms. Means 3 sets of twins, Zach. They call it one big family.
Wow, I'll say. And check this out. This hockey goalie's name is Lily, and her teammates had no idea that she had prosthetic legs when she signed up for hockey camp. They were hidden by her gear and pads, and she told her mom not to tell people because she wanted people to see her as a player and not one with prosthetics. She's pretty good at the game, too. She stops pucks with gloves, blockers, and her legs, too. Nothing holding her back.
That's impressive.
Yeah, love it.
Finally, one man gets to drive around with Carrie Underwood everywhere. He says he's a super fan himself, but the singer's music helped get him through a tough time. He created the truck as a tribute to his late wife. She died back in 2010, but used Underwood's music to get her through time in the hospital. Now this truck is a way of honoring his wife's life.
Carrie Underwood does have some inspirational songs. So Small is a good one, but I don't think the one where she's talking about hitting her ex's car with the baseball bat is inspirational.
No,
or it shouldn't
that's
be
not.
Inspirational.
Not for that.
Maybe it is
no.
for some people, though.
She does have lots of good songs, though.
Yes, she does. Great artist. All right, Governor Newsom passes a bill that's changing the definition of beer. The changes it makes to current law and the opportunities it offers to brewers. You're going to want to hear it.
Now Dan's listening. Plus, empty ride cars at the happiest place on earth. Visitors speculate on the reason for fewer crowds and shorter lines. Disneyland visitors have noticed something unusual at the park. The new Star Wars themed land opened up smaller crowds and shorter lines.
Didn't seem too packed. I mean, there was like 10, 15, 20-minute waits on the rides.
Many are speculating about the reason for fewer people. Some blame climbing tickets and hotel costs. Others say it's timing and the weather. Disney says the park isn't quieter at all. The shorter wait times and lines are intentional. In a statement, a spokesperson said, "We are incredibly focused on delivering a great guest experience for the opening of Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. This land has added 20% more capacity to Disneyland Park."
Okay, but when you're literally seeing the teacups empty, I mean, what is that?
I know.
I don't know. Okay. Anyways, brewing beer can sometimes be considered an art. I think so. And companies have been experimenting with ingredients for years. And some say many have been doing so illegally while officials look away.
If we have a beer making license, we can only use certain types of fermentable sugars to make the beer, and those sugars have to be derived from grain.
The definitions of beer are pretty archaic.
But a new law just signed by Governor Newsom is redefining what beer is. It's hoping to change that. Beer can now be produced using honey, fruit, herbs, spices, and other food materials. And beer makers say it is about time.
The consumers that want new beers and they want heavily fruited adjuncted beers, and now we can legally do that.
The new law will also allow beer to be aged in barrels that once had wine or distilled spirits in them and still be classified as beer, which previously required a wine license. A lot of rules there, opening up even more markets for the ever-growing small craft beer industry. All right, in tonight's Ag Report, if you want to invest in something that's exploding in value, forget Wall Street. Just look at avocado futures. Wholesale prices on the pitted fruit are more than double what they were just a year ago. Avocados from Mexico cost a whopping 129% more. Most of that is being passed on to consumers, with retail prices almost doubling. Analysts attribute the spike to growing global demand and a natural seasonal dip in production, both in Mexico and here in California. But don't worry, prices are forecast to come down in about a month when production in Mexico ramps back up.
A birthday cake fail goes viral. We'll explain why this design isn't exactly what the birthday girl ordered. All right, finally here, a Georgia Dairy Queen made a mistake on a birthday cake that has now gone viral. The birthday girl is a Disney fan and wanted to have Moana on her cake. Instead, she got a marijuana leaf and a My Little Pony character. The workers offered to make another one, but she thought it was so funny she didn't want to replace
Where
it.
did the My Little Pony come in? I get the marijuana Moana thing maybe? Oh,
but
my producer just explained it to
she's
me.
turned 25?
Yeah?
Okay, well at least it wasn't a little girl's cake.
But she wanted Moana. Mom, probably at 11. Thank you for watching.
Have a great night.